Good morning, it's Jennifer from Yellow Brick Road Farm, and I am taking the zucchini in the summer squash out to the outside greenhouse to harden off. It has been a very cold spring here on Cape Sable Island, and that in itself isn't too unusual, but even the cold hardy things are stalled. So that unfortunately has meant that I've got to replant a few things simply because they're just not thriving and I won't get good yields out of them, and I want to I had planted some old seed of carrots and over near there, and they just didn't take off, and the weeds are kind of taking over that right now. So, but first we're gonna go into the greenhouse where things are all well. So we have peas that are flowering and getting ready to put on fruit. We have tomato plants that are getting hardened off, and they're doing really well. Their stalks look really sturdy and they're doing well. We have Swiss chard and lettuce and parsley, some white turnips down there that are going to be picked today, and we're going to have those for supper. Spinach and lettuces, and all the peppers are in. They've been hardened off out here for quite a while. The broccoli's doing well. We've got some broccoli there, and the bunching onions are doing well as well. So this, of course, I have transplanted the peppers in amongst all of the spinach and things, because these will bolt. It'll be too warm for these in here soon, and so those will bolt, and I'll haul those, but there'll be plenty of room for the peppers in there. And I will transplant some other things in amongst the peppers, in order to, always maximize my space. I'm always layering things in. Swiss chard looks really good over there. And of course, I've got some cucumbers in here as well, which will trail up. I'll trellis those up. One of the cucumbers I see got collar rot, and that's my fault. I was trying to protect it from the slugs by putting some mulch around them, and I think I just overdid it. I put it a little too close, and they just didn't like that. Yeah, but I've got some more I'll just throw in there, and that will help. So yeah. So that's the little small greenhouse. But back outside, the sage is doing really well this year. It's crazy. I have an excess of cabbage plants that I don't know where I was going with all this cabbage, but I have transplanted as much cabbage probably as I can. So I'm going to take those to the seed library this morning. I have lots of sweet peas doing really well out here. I shouldn't say really well, they're just kind of stalled. Same as the chard and the white turnips over here, but still not bad. I mean, I'm getting good sizes. Beans are transplanted out, so I've got to put some more rattlesnake beans in today. I redid all the wire on there. Carrots, I've done 2 planting of carrots. These ones are obviously doing much better than the other ones. The peas, are up and raring to go. And actually, what's funny is that I planted these well after this section, and they're almost going to catch up. I mean, sometimes that's just the way spring is. And we've got broccoli and cabbage and celery and cauliflower over here. And I had a hilarious hope, okay, of being able to put a really, anchor down a really good row cover over my brassicas for the to protect against cabbage moss. Of course, I couldn't even lay that down. Every time I tried, like, it just wind. And then I tried it, and it just kept tearing and ripping. The wind is just so brutal here. I mean, it's not unusual for us to get 80 to 100, 120 kilometer winds, just on a storm day, so it's just really hard that way to protect against those. But what I have over here, but the potatoes are doing really well. I'm going to hill those up today and get those done. I planted my beds out with some radishes, some quick growing things, some beautiful, beautiful lettuces, and some bok choy, which we've been, pak choy, I think, which we've been eating off of, and I will use the rest in a stir fry tonight because you can see it is starting to bolt. But these are white, long white icicle radishes, and I'm really, really pleased with these. You know, I'm not a radish fan, but these they're mild. The greens are delicious. So I've been really, really pleased with how, you know, they've come along, and it's been a great filler for this bed until the sweet potatoes go in. These two beds will be sweet potatoes, and then of course a cattle panel is going in over top, and we will do cucumbers over top of that. It will trellis those. So under this row cover, this is the only way row cover works, is that I've got it tucked inside this raised bed here, are the sweet potato slips. And I actually had really, really good luck with these this year. So we had lots pop up, lots took hold. Really pleased with what's come out. So I should be able to fill 2 full beds with those. Let's see what else we have. We have chives and lemon balm. Oh, the lemon balm's just beautiful lemon balm here. That just smells amazing. Oh, just so good. And echinacea, and this bed is, I'm trying to cultivate this bed. It's always, and you can see I've got some chop and dropping to do there on some weeds. Well, not weeds really. I mean, it's a green mulch. It's a green compost basically. I'm just chopping that down, letting it go to, sort of laying it as a fertilizer, a green fertilizer in the garden. But but this obviously is dandelion. And I need to get on top of that. This section over here just needs some cultivating. I've been popping in all kinds of extra plants as I get them, and trying to cultivate this whole section here into perennials, hardy perennials. And then of course rhubarb's doing really well this year. It's a good rhubarb year, and I've already done one huge harvest off of this, and soon time to do another one. We've had lots of heat this last couple days, so calendula, tons of calendula seedlings, lots of volunteer dill coming up, and I seeded a bunch of dill. This is also where I put my pole beans on this fence here, which borders the garden, with the small perennial garden out here, which is currant bushes, black currant, red currant, and you can see I've got the collars on to protect them from the chickens dust bathing them out. And there's Evie. Hello, girl. And then we start into the raspberry patch, which for better or worse I've planted here on this border, and it may or may not be a great idea, but anyway, there we go. It basically is, there's some, goodness, I can't even remember the cultivar. I have it written down, but definitely getting some fruit on there. So I'm going to give that a nice feeding with phosphorus, a potash rich soil fertilizer, probably a fish fertilizer, and or a comfrey. I have a lot of comfrey planted to make comfrey fertilizer and a comfrey tea, and that works really well. I did that last year, and I really, really enjoyed seeing that the results of that, certainly in my yields and my fruit. And over here we have, of course, mint, which everybody tells you not to plant in the garden, but I've done it with a border, and I haul it and put it into pots and give it away, and I stay on top of it, so it's not so bad. I use a lot of mint in teas, and we also use a lot in the chicken coops through the winter. I have lots of onion sets here, probably about 300 or so onions, at least, and then we have some that I started by seed as well, so I did sets and seeds. I did both, just to hedge. I always like to hedge my bets. It takes a lot. Onion seeds can be finicky. I'm okay with them now. Hi, Whiskey. Good morning. and garlic. So I was telling a friend of mine that my garlic this year, I mean, while it is not by any stretch disappointing, unfortunately, I did a different method this year. That I normally cover it all with straw in the fall, and then cover it with pine boughs, spruce pine boughs. And unfortunately, this year I tried something different, and I just found, and I shouldn't say unfortunately because it's not bad, but unfortunately what I did was I mulched it heavily with hay. We had some spent hay that was dusty and moldy sort of thing, and I thought, well, I don't want it to go to waste, so I chopped it up and used it in the garden, and as a fertilizer. And so I used that as a mulch this year during the winter for my garlic, and then I covered it with pine boughs, and I've just found that the garlic is not as sturdy. I just found that it's coming up weaker, and maybe that's a combination of the cold. Like, it can never just be one thing, right? But it may be a combination of the cold, but it may also be that. So next year I'm definitely going to go back to that, and go back to my method of the mulching with straw and my evergreen boughs again, and just see if that is what I need to do, just to go back. What else do I have here? Okay, so we have some lettuces starting again here. We have another set of bunching onions. We have fava beans, and they've been planted out for a little while, and you can see they're just getting on some really good growth this week. And they'll bush out quite a bit. Like, I find fava beans, you kind of got to give them a little bit of room. They like to do that. And then I have tatsoi leeks, which only look like baby grass right now. We have some turnip over there, some beets, and like I mentioned, some arugula, some spinach. So I've got everything pretty much in the ground started. But we're not going to get any good growth until probably this month. That's just the way it goes. Oh, and I did a row of parsnip, some shallots over there. I've really, kept, I like to tidy things, put things quite close together and tidy, and really, get my yields out of that small space. And obviously taking into account for shade and things like that. So I like that. I did a new kale bed over here, and I expanded my asparagus bed this year. Have not had the best asparagus year again this year. So I'm wondering if I just need to move this patch. The first 4 years, it was doing really well. And then the last probably 4 years, sorry. The last 4 years, it's just slowly the yields have diminished, and it just isn't a good spot for it. I find it too sandy. I find the ants like to come over here. I've tried mulching it heavily, and I've tried doing a bunch of different things to help correct it, but obviously there's an imbalance over here. It's not good for my asparagus, so I just need to move it. I need to give it what it needs. And obviously I'm not doing that right now. So, anyway, I will probably dig up those roots in the fall and replant them somewhere else. Have a Weigelia bush over there, and we've got some wild cherry and wild apple in behind us there, and some wild raspberries. Those grow really well here. And so basically I'm just waiting now to put in cucumbers, squash plants, and of course tomatoes. I've got some started up in the high tunnel, but this is just a little kitchen garden, and this is meant not to be all of our produce, but it's meant for us to eat really, really fresh from here. And I just enjoy having I've got lots of spinach over there and tatsoi again. I tuck everything in, and I really like to layer over this cattle panel. I have sweet peas. I really like to layer everything in so that we just are constantly having something new to harvest, something new to eat fresh from, and to paraphrase you know, I don't do it for this reason. I do it for, you know, obviously, you know, the nutrition and the love of it, and, you know, and being connected to our food, and, you know, but it's really nice just to look around, to paraphrase Elliot Coleman. You know, it's just really nice to look around and see that there are corners and pockets of the world that big corporations have not touched, you know, with our food. And I certainly feel that way in my garden. I certainly feel that way to be able to come out here and harvest fresh, what, you know, things that we want to eat for supper that night, and you know, or for the next day, and to be able to harvest and preserve the extra. That sounds really nice. I got to hit the other farm and get the meat hens moved in the tractor, and yeah, I've just got a bunch of stuff to keep going at. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I don't know how your gardens are doing. You can let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and yeah, see what everybody else is up to. I love hearing what other people are growing, and how things are going in your neck of the woods for plantings and things like that. So yeah, lots of baby spinach there. Yeah. So everything is growing. I mean, you know, it's just like I mentioned, it's been cold here. This week we should see a lot of growth and a lot of exciting changes. And yeah, I'm definitely going to replant these carrots. Yeah. So you got to love these early morning walks, so that we can get a list of things to do and things to prioritize, and get going. So anyway, anyway, have a great day, and hope you check in soon again. The garden.